Hi, Nicholas.
Hey Noah, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
Well, thank you for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
All right. So, first off, I saw on a BTN, The Journey, that you were a big Hawkeye fan growing up. They meant a lot to you. And I was just wondering, like, what did they mean to you growing up, and what are some of your favorite Hawkeye memories?
yeah, I come from a family of Hawkeye graduates, and I was born in Iowa City, so we were, obviously in Iowa City and, rooting for the Hawkeyes all the time. And I just growing up, I was always very fond of them, and more so, obviously, towards like Hawkeye football. That's where a lot of like my
Mm-hmm.
memories growing up were. Obviously, I remember a few of those basketball teams with, Jeff Horner, Greg Bruner, Adam Haluska, those really great teams. And I think it's just like growing up, and as I started to play basketball, the dream was always to play at the University of Iowa, one way or another. So I was really blessed to be able to have that opportunity in my life.
So you eventually ended up at Bettendorf High School. They got a really great gym. I love that place. Curtis Clark, their head coach, played basketball with my dad, so
Oh,
uh,
cool.
we know him. So I was wondering, what was your time at Bettendorf High School like?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of the reasons why I had a little bit of success, in college was because of the foundational learning I had at Bettendorf. Both academically, but also, on the court. I thought I was really fortunate to be able to play with a really unique and fun group of guys at Bettendorf, and still guys I still stay in touch with today. And we had a couple pretty special teams there, and really enjoyed being a Bulldog.
Yeah, and of course, we talked about in that question before, you were a big Hawkeye fan growing up. I saw your sister dropped off some film at the basketball department, and you were able to walk on at Iowa. And how did you end up making the most out of that opportunity?
Yeah, I think for me it was always trying to find a way to either provide something that no one else is bringing to the table. I think that's something that I always try to focus on, and for me that answer was playing with as much energy as possible. Getting extra possessions for my team, and then once carving out like a small role my redshirt freshman year, then watching that role expand as I continue to play. But I thought I did a pretty good job of making sure I was eating right and making sure I was getting good sleep. And I think that was really important to me because I knew that your time there is so short. I had 5 years because I redshirted, but in the scheme of hopefully a very long life, I'm not there very long. So I wanted to make the most of it, and I wanted to stay as committed as possible as I could be.
Yeah, and you said in an interview with Big Ten Network, you're not a freak athlete, but if I can make hustle plays, I can be effective. Coach McCaffrey said, "There's no one who works like you." Just where does that work ethic come from for you?
I think I see how hard my mom works and how hard my parents work, and I think that's always been instilled in me, from a young age. But I think more so just a lot of it was what had to do with Bettendorf. I think it goes back to my roots there, and it didn't matter how talented you were necessarily if you weren't playing as hard as you could. Every possession you weren't going to see the floor as much, and understand that was the expectation at Bettendorf. And then once that's just ingrained in me, I was able to carry that through at the University of Iowa. So, and I think that's something that's unique about energy is it's able to create more of itself. And once you're energetic, it's contagious, and people can feed off of that. And I think that's something that's really unique about what that asset can bring to the table.
Yeah, and so you really broke out for your first time in a game against Drake, Wells Fargo Arena. That place is really cool. You said, you played a lot in the state tournament there, a couple years, so you are familiar with the place. So walk us through that game, and what are some of your favorite moments from it?
Yeah, I remember a couple things about that game. One, I had an awful haircut. I remember that. I went to Great Clips, and I just remember, they cut me just a little bit too short. I always remember that. But as it relates to the actual game, I remember Jared Uthoff, our All-American, he got 2 fouls early, so that's why I was playing so much. And I remember Drake was a pretty tough, scrappy team, and they were trying to play their way of basketball. And I just remember, I had a bit more opportunity that game. just because I was, being able to find like, shots I was comfortable taking, but also continuing to make energy plays and hustle plays. And, luckily we were able to, beat a really tough Drake team that year. And I think we only won by 6 or 8 or something like that. But I remember being very proud of myself after that game and feeling like I contributed a large part.
Yeah, and so the game I remember is the Nicholas Baer game, where I really, at the beginning, was like, wait, who is this? And then in the end, you were one of my favorite players. Was against Michigan State, number 1 team at home. So, of course, you ended up beating them at Carver. That had to be a dream come true for you. Just explain what it meant.
Yeah, I think that game for me was when I was coming out of high school. I had offers. I had one scholarship offer at Northwest Missouri State, and I could have walked down at UNI or Drake. And for me, the reason I wanted to go to the University of Iowa was I wanted to, be a part of something bigger than myself. I wanted to be, playing games like that, and being able to play against number 1 team in the nation, undefeated, and be able to play well in front of friends and family, and on national television as well. I think that's one of the reasons why I went to the University of Iowa, and I felt vindicated in my decision because of games like that. So really proud of the performance I had. I remember Mike Gazelle had 25 that game. I always remember that, but I just remember feeling very proud and feeling like that I kind of belonged.
Yeah, I was talking with Mike last week, actually. Yeah. And I asked him about the game as well. I mean, that's just one that is always going to stick in my memory as a Hawkeye fan. I remember watching that and this storming the court. What was it like down there?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really fully expect that. I mean, I knew, like, in hindsight, I was like, oh, I should have been looking for that. But, once it happened, you just enjoy it. I think we had 2 in my whole career. We had when we beat Michigan State and then when we beat Michigan my senior year. And those are special moments. Those are, the reason why you go there. And you got to really enjoy, the chance to interact with, the diehard fans who are making their way to games.
Yeah, I actually think I was at that Michigan game your senior year. It was either that or the year before, around that timeline. So after those games that season, Coach McCaffrey ended up awarding you that scholarship. And so just what was going through your head when that happened, and what was that moment like?
Yeah, I mean, I knew we had a couple guys transfer at the end of the season, so I knew there would be a couple scholarships available. And we have end-of-season meetings each year, and Coach brought me in and he said, great work this year, and I want you to know that we're going to put you on scholarship next year. And the thing that I think really was special about that to me is, he said that you earned it. I'm not giving this to you. You went out and you produced for the team, and you absolutely earned this. So I think that's something I've always been proud of. Starting off as a walk-on and being able to bet on myself that I would one day be able to contribute in some capacity, and to have that come to fruition was something I was really proud about.
Yeah, and you certainly did contribute, becoming one of the key members to the team in your time at Iowa. So during that time, you got to play in a lot of different places. What were some of your favorite places to play?
Yeah, I mean, I think one that stands out is Madison Square Garden. I think that's a place where it's one of the most famous arenas in the world. And I think that place stands out. Every time I had a chance to play in the NCAA tournament was special. I think that's something I always look forward to. It didn't necessarily matter where the gym was, but being able to play on that stage is something that another reason why you play at that high level and you want to compete there. And I think those are some probably the top 2 special ones to me that popped in the first part of my mind.
Yeah, and I've always wondered what Indiana was like too. I know Mike Gazelle again referenced that one. Connor McCaffrey did too. So you did mention in that last question the NCAA tournament, playing there. Just what is that experience like as a player?
Yeah, it's something you dream about. You grow up watching March Madness. I had a chance to, go to a few regionals growing up, and that was special to me. Seeing a few buzzer beaters, seeing a few upsets, and that's the goal each year is to be playing in March and deep into March, and I think that's what makes it all more fun is once you have a good season that you've earned your chance to play an NCAA tournament and try to make a deep run. So that's something I was always proud of, and something that I that was always a goal for our team each year.
Did you fill out a bracket when you were playing in that?
I never did. No, I never. Partially because we're not allowed to, but also because I just didn't see it as too fruitful with me. But yeah, I never did.
Yeah. And so you were an all-academic 4 straight years in the Big Ten. I think 4 straight.
Mm-hmm.
You were 4 years.
Yep.
So what does academics mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think my time at Iowa was special off the court in the sense that I was able to try a few things. Originally I started out as a business major, and I realized, business school wasn't something that I necessarily wanted to do, and so I switched to communication major. And those were some classes that I really enjoyed, and aligned with what I wanted to learn about. And I think I was really fortunate to be able to surround myself with people who valued academics as well, especially in the athletic department. And I'm very proud to have a degree from the University of Iowa. And my 5th year, I started my graduate degree. I have to go back and finish that at some point for sports and recreation management. But I've always been really proud of my degree from the University of Iowa, and how I held myself to a high standard in academics.
So something I've always wondered about is people talk about their welcome to the show moments, where they like, yep, I'm here. When was that moment for you?
I'd say probably there's two. I remember when I first got there, and I was watching these guys, Jared Uthoff, Aaron White, and I'm thinking they were superheroes in a sense, and how would I be able to go up against them? And I just remember one day in practice, I just had a good segment, and I had a good play, and just I was able to compete with them and able to hold my own, and just kind of started to grow some confidence from that. In terms of actually being on the court, with the lights are bright, I would say the Michigan State my freshman year, but more so Indiana my freshman year. When Indiana came in, they played us at home, and I hit 2 big threes. In a big momentum swing, and that was a really important game for us. Unfortunately, we didn't pull it out, but I was able to make a few big plays, and just one of those momentum swinging threes that had Carver Rock, and I just remember finishing that game, that's why I wanted to come here.
Yeah, and as a kid, you're out there in the stands. Even as an adult, you can be out there, and it's just there's a different environment to Carver. You don't see many stadiums like that where it's just that big bowl. And It gets really loud. So just as a player, did you ever just stop and, take a look around and just think, man, I dreamed of being here as a kid, and just what's that like?
Yeah, I think a lot of times it came after games because, during games, just there's so many things going on. But definitely after games, as we're walking out, or reminiscing on the game. And that's the thing I feel like I got as much as I could possibly out of this opportunity, and I didn't take it for granted, and I loved every second of being a chance to play more the.
Yeah, and so at Iowa, what were some of your favorite memories playing for the Hawkeyes?
Yeah, I think my senior year was special. I remember, I think we won the. I mentioned Madison Square Garden earlier. We won the Thanksgiving tournament out there, and I think that was special for me just because that was our first championship. That was our first tournament championship, and it made it even more special because my brother was on the team that year. So getting to share that experience with him was something that was really unique, and I always appreciated. And I remember that. I remember being put on a scholarship. Winning in the NCAA tournament was special to me. That first game, and then almost coming close. That's against Tennessee. That would have been remarkable. But I always appreciated those big moments. That's something that you always look back on and never forget. But I also appreciate the relationships I made along the way.
Yeah, I think we were at Cabo's we were at a Mexican restaurant. We were watching that Tennessee game. That was so exciting. I did not expect that good of a game, and you guys came close, but it was certainly a fun game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned in that last answer playing with your brother Michael. I asked Connor this, just what's that experience being able to play with your brother? That's another dream that you had been able to live out, because I know me and my cousin Teddy, shout out to you by the way, was we like whenever we're there, we would play basketball and pretend we're on the same team, whether it's at Notre Dame or the Chicago Bulls, two teams that we both really like, and just what was that like to be able to be on the same floor as your brother in a Hawkeye uniform?
Yeah, man. I mean, that was just something we both dreamed of. And not every kid gets that opportunity. I think we understood that. We understood how thankful that we were for that opportunity, and I think that's what made that year special for us, and for our family too. Knowing that we were both on the team, and it's something that when I'm 70 years old, 75 years old, I'll still remember and be able to tell my kids and grandkids about, and that's something that I'll always remember, and that will be a very special part of my life.
So the Hawkeyes honored you on senior night. The crowd gave you this giant ovation. And so what did it mean for you to see those fans give you that kind of support?
Yeah, I mean, that was something that you always look forward to. Senior night's a special night. And what was unique about that was I was the only senior. So it was kind of, a lot of spotlights was on me a lot, which was a little different. I always like having a few other people up there, so it was a little different. But unfortunately, we didn't perform as well as we wanted to that game, so that wasn't quite ideal. But I appreciated the recognition and the ovation I got from the fans.
So after that, you played a year in the G League, and are you still going to play with them this year? I couldn't really find that.
So I haven't signed anywhere yet. I'm not sure. The G League's pretty up in the air right now. I'm currently looking to go play overseas, but I did spend last year with Raptors 905, and I thought it was a good season. I really enjoyed my time up there in Mississauga, having a chance to experience a new culture and live in a new country. Was really a unique experience, something that I appreciated, and I had a really good experience up there, and looking forward to hopefully be playing overseas here soon.
So what is it like knowing you're this close to the NBA highest level of basketball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because you think the G League's got a lot of guys coming in and out of the G League. Get some nights you might have NBA guys coming down to play with you, and maybe your minutes are not what they were before, and you got to be able to adjust and adapt. But just being able to be around people who are at the highest level of basketball is special. And just getting to learn from them, and even if maybe they're playing more and they're gonna take up your minutes from the night, that's a great opportunity to still learn from them and see how they approach the game and what they think, and just being ready to learn as much as possible.
Yeah, so that should do it for most of my serious questions here. But I do at the end of the interview do some would you rather questions, get to know off the court. You up for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so would you rather watch a football game or a baseball game?
Oh, football game. Absolutely. Unless it's the Cubs, though. The Cubs is about the only baseball game I watch, but
Go Cubs, go.
Yep, go Cubs, go.
Yeah. Would you rather read a great book or watch an okay movie?
Oh, great book. Great book you can always... There's plenty of okay movies, man. You can find okay movies a dime a dozen, but great books, those are something that you can always stick with, and I feel like I learned a lot more that way.
And the last one I have here, it's my go-to for all my interviews. Would you rather eat Italian or Mexican food?
Italian. I'm a huge Italian. I'm actually probably going to have chicken parm tonight, so we're going to dinner. But yeah, I'd take Italian food. I love Mexican food, though, but Italian food 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, pizza. That's where I'm at with Italian.
Too.
That and spaghetti. I could live on that.
Yep. That's all you need.
All right, so that should do it for the interview here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Noah. If I can help you at all, let me know. You can either connect with anybody else, but good luck the rest of the way with your broadcasting, and looking forward to see how your career turns out. So I'll be following.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. Have a good one, Noah.
You too. Bye.